what to bring that's often forgotten when going on film sets. So, what is the question that we have from the community today?
Which one was it? What to bring that is often forgotten?
I think for me originally, it was a lot of kind of the essential items because we were so caught up in, are the batteries charged, are the lenses cleaned, like all that stuff that...
SD cards.
Yeah, SD
That's
cards.
The one I forget all the time.
Do you have your SD card in your camera or in your case, designated spot? But a big part's like sunscreen. Bug spray. We had an incident where we were filming out in the middle of nowhere and it usually was windy. Then we went out there for day 3 and the wind was gone and it was just a annihilation of mosquitoes.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, so...
I wasn't even there for that one.
But we showed them the footage. It was nuts.
Yeah.
So those kind of essential items I find are really often the most forgot about things, to where it's... A lot of times we take care of all the film essentials. We forget about the individual essentials. Food for me personally was a big one. I'm kind of the type of person where when I'm in the middle of working, I just work, and I don't think about eating. And so a lot of times I would carry that out when we were working with smaller crews, first kind of getting started out. I realized everybody's like dying. And in my mind, it's like, come on, guys, let's keep going.
Let's move.
And it's like, oh no. Everybody needs food and sustenance.
Yeah, food and water.
So bringing like little snack items and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's a matter of making sure that the crew is happy and fed well. And not fed with things that make them sluggish. Like, I know it's may or may not be healthy, but we look for sugary things because that tends to boost
give a quick energy
while you're on set. And then we have like lunch breaks now.
Yeah.
Before we didn't.
But yeah, I mean, even with that, like snack foods, we find applesauce is great. Mm-hmm. You can get some pretty good healthy applesauce that are low in carbs.
Dried fruit's
a great. We like to bring Fig Newtons.
Let's see here. What else?
Beef jerky can be good. Really, we're always looking for, and we actually look for things that are individually packaged.
Protein shakes.
Yeah, I know it's like sometimes it kind of breaks my heart because it's like a little more wasteful getting things that are pre-packaged, but what's nice is
small water bottles.
Yeah, it's small water bottles, so you don't have a bunch of wasted water. And individuals, you get a Fig Newton with 2 in a pack, and it's like you open up, you eat those 2, and you move on. Instead of all of them going dry or someone sticking their hands in and getting people sick. So it's like it's kind of that balance between maybe yes a little more wasteful, but better on the health, better on actually in the end we get less waste because people aren't drinking half a water bottle and then throwing it away because no one knows who it belongs to, that kind of stuff. Just to kind of consider would be, blankets. Blankets is a big one.
Oh, that's a huge
Production blankets, oftentimes I think forgot about because, again, it's one of those elements that aren't always necessary. If you're trying to block out a window or something, yeah, it helps to hang up a blanket. But putting your equipment on, we have a video that talks about what we found to be good film etiquette techniques, and blankets was a big one of that. And I know for a while that was not something that was part of our kit, but now it's like the essential.
That's something I forget a lot is stingers. When it comes to if you're bringing your lighting equipment and you're not just working off of the sun, you got to remember to bring your stingers.
So for those of you who don't know, stingers are the film term for extension cords. We buy just standard black extension cords. We now, as part of our film kit, we have 2 boxes of stingers. One with a whole bunch of 10-foot stingers, and then one with a bunch of 25 and 50-foot stingers. Just because a lot of times we'll run one big supply with the 50-footers, and then we'll branch it out with these little four branch.
What do you call them? 4
splitters. Yeah, and so those are really nice. And we like to get the splitters that have like the individual heads. You can kind of run them every which way, wrap around stuff, and then from there we run a bunch of 10-foot stingers to lights and things like that. So yeah, stingers can be super useful. Gaff tape. I think that one's probably less forgotten about if you've kind of been in it. Almost everybody brings gaff tape with them. But if you haven't gotten into getting gaff tape and bringing it on set, it costs a little bit more. But man, once you start using gaff tape, you just realize it works for everything.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's ever been a time that we haven't used gaff tape at least once on set. We'll put a link in the description.
Yeah, we'll put a link down in the description, but I think it's like Gaffer USA or something like that. That's what I found to be kind of a good price along with good quality. There's some gaff tapes on Amazon that we went through and tried. They were cheaper, but man, they were horrible. Left tons of residue, just not great.
Orange, green, and blue with white and black. Those are our main 5 go-tos.
Mm-hmm. The white's great because you can label stuff, so it helps us label equipment or label things like, oh, don't touch or turn the power all the way up. You know, if there's like a mic or a light with maybe a little quirk on it that, you know, it's not worth buying another $3,000 light, but, you know, you just have to notify people of the quirk. That's great. The colors are great because then we can use it to identify things that match. For example, if we wanted this mic to always be with this cable, we mark them both with a piece of orange tape or something like that. Comes in really handy for that type of organizational communication. Kind of the point on a film set, at least for us, is how do we eliminate the verbal communication as much as possible so that the physical communication is there. Right. You know, colors that go with each other, labels that point to what an individual needs to do, cases that are pre-cut with foam to where you can only put the light in one way and you don't have to go find someone who knows how to pack the light. You know, not necessarily something that people forget about, but I would say an element that you can step up to the next level. It's bringing cases with things clearly labeled and places clearly cut out so that you aren't losing stuff.
That's one of my favorite things about being on a COMV set is the way that we package all of our equipment. I mean, you know when you're missing something because there's a certain slot for it. It's like, oh crap, where does this cord for this light go? Where did it go? You know, I think that's the only thing we once forgot was a cord to a light.
Mm-hmm. But then we found it. Yeah. It was there. I somehow it just magically reappeared, but whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in our history of being a film production company, we've lost 2 things. One was a plastic bag that got blown away in the wind when we were in the middle of the Salt Flats filming for the first chapter of Navigator. And the second thing was like this little elastic piece that wrapped around a tripod leg. And like, that's it. Everything else we've been able to always have a place for, and it's always been accounted for.
Yeah, and they last forever when you have an exact spot for something.
On other sets that we've worked on, they're losing stuff, they're missing stuff, and, you know, misplacing a cable sometimes isn't horrible, but man, some of our cables cost a few $100s. Yeah. And it's like you misplace one of those and
it's another $100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's $40 or something. It's like, well, $40 adds up really quickly if every shoot you're misplacing $40 to $50 worth of stuff.
For sure.
So if you guys have some filmmaking related questions that you want to throw over to us, feel free to leave them in the comments. Also, you can head over to context.comv.org and submit your questions there. It's actually a lot easier for us to go through those questions because they're all submitted into a nice form versus having to dig through the comments. Carry on the conversation below, and we'll see you guys on the next question in context.
Cheers.